And mark my words, what will happen eventually is that people will be in conversation a few generations from now, and they'll say, do you know they used to use stuff called paper? And they used to buy things with it. And then people would shoot each other and kill each other for it. Are you kidding me? No. And they got greedy and their egos, and they tried to destroy the planet and bomb it and kill people by the millions and separate everybody. Wow, that can't be the same planet. We haven't used money in decades. What is that about? We have everything we need. In fact, the majority of the population has left the planet, and they're in other star systems, and they have seeded other planets. Planets are created to have life deposited on them, intelligent life. All planets are seeded, all of them.
Get out of here.
No, all planets are seeded at different levels and different sections to certain planets' atmospheric conditions, whether it be desert, whether it be water, whether it be vapor, gas, doesn't matter. All planets are created to house life. And I mean house, because we're one of the few planets where you have a surface population. Most civilizations live beneath the surface of their planets. So they don't have to deal with all the crap that goes on, storms and electrical storms and all kinds of stuff, and hurricanes and all that stuff. They don't have to deal with it. They live underground. And then when you have a nice day, you come up and enjoy the surface.
Okay, I'm gonna throw a wrench in the game. Before I open it up to Wesley to ask this question, I'm gonna throw a wrench in the game. For several years, I was friends with, toured with, shot basketball with, ate pancakes with one known as Prince. Is Prince alive?
Absolutely.
You gotta do better. Come on.
You know, look at it this way. All right, when you have a civilization that's mostly asleep, how do you exit the system? How do you exit it? How do you leave behind your whole, you know, what you did, your accomplishments, whatever, as an artist, whatever it may be? That you come to a conclusion is that I don't care to do this anymore. I don't care to be controlled, directed. And so what's the trade-off? Well, you can't ever do it again. And you won't have fame, and you won't have fortune. You can take with what you have now, but you won't be in public eye. No one will know you exist, as did with the one you were. So you leave. You leave the system. You leave it. And everybody is convinced you're gone. You're gone. And isn't it funny how it all happens? And there's been those who have completely done it flawlessly. And how it happens is all of a sudden, out of the clear blue, something's wrong. And then they expound on it. And then it becomes more intense. And the next thing you know, I knew they were going to take him out. I knew it. They're going to take him out. They took him out. He's gone. And that's it. It's gone. And so what happens? Believe the unbelievable. Believe in the fractured mental condition of the planet. Believe in the unbelievable.
Because that's how the Matrix is destroyed, by believing the unbelievable.
Yes, exactly. Because the controllers of the planet know that. So they say, oh, no, we've got them really where we want them. So Prince leaves the system. Now he's disconnected. And he's not going to do what he ever did before, and he knows that. But guess what? The best part of his existence is now. Not all the years that he entertained. It's now. See? And a few people know it. There's always a few selected that know intimately about that, but they just don't discuss it or interact with it. It's the same with Michael Jackson. He you know, what was he going to do? His body was shot, okay? He couldn't do it anymore. He couldn't do that. You know, he had to take certain drugs, painkillers, muscle relaxants, all kinds. His joints were shot. So he said, I can't do this tour, and I know that they're after me. They want to put me out because I'm not performing anymore. So the guy started as a little kid. So it's over. So he says, I got to get out. So they wrapped his body or a body and then mummified it. And you can find some of the pictures. There's not many. They might have scrubbed them. But in the beginning, when they were carrying him out, they mummified his body. He just looked like a part. He was going to go into sarcophagus. And then, as enough said, and he was at his own funeral, which happens a lot of the times. And this isn't unusual. It happens all the time. You know, where do you think, who was the last basketball star, all-star, that left? Who was it? Kobe.
And his daughter.
So isn't that interesting? So you exit. You don't want to be part of the system of corruption, the corrupted souls, those that dictate, tell you what to do, how to do it. Okay? And so people won't believe it. They won't believe it. That's the cover. It's perfect. No one's going to believe that. No one's going to believe the prince is alive, or the one that was prince is alive. And no one's going to believe that Elvis is alive. He's still around. He's 83. And no one's going to believe that Michael's alive. But Michael was at his own funeral. You know, they'll show up, but no one's going to believe it because they don't look the way they used to. They alter their appearance so that for the first time they can move freely and no one knows who they are. They're just, you know, just like Bill Johnson down the street. It's no big deal. And so they get to the point where they don't want to be part of the corruption and the corrupted souls and the parasitical overlords of the planet and feed off of them. So they just exit. That's it. They leave it all behind, and then they most likely their lives, their existences are by far better, more enjoyable. Period. So it's happened throughout, you know, many situations where they leave the system, and the public, well, they pass. There have been more faked funerals of famous people than you can shake a stick at. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
You got the wherewithal. You got the Federal Reserve notes to make it happen.
Yeah. So you try to fake it in the public. You're aware that the public is not consciously aware that they're conscious, so they're bicameral. So you fake it. So what they do is they fake it, and the public thinks it's real. And that's it. And then you get the people say, "Wow, he's not dead. He still lived." Oh, these are nutcases, and they're all labeled as nutcases when they're telling the truth.
Just like we'll all be labeled as nutcases in CGI when we show up 20, 30 years younger than we were yesterday.
Exactly. Because people won't believe you. They won't believe you. And what difference does it make? Does it make any difference to any of us what others think of us?
Not to me.
No. It really doesn't, does it? It doesn't make any difference. It doesn't. If someone says to you, blah, 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 you just send them love. You don't have to verbalize it. You send it from the heart mind. You're made of it. They are too. So you just send it at them. Not through the ego mind, because that's when it's not effective at all. But through the heart mind, genuinely, without expectations or attachments, your loving part of you, what's inside of them, is part of you, vice versa.
Right.
We're all one. See? We're pieces of the whole. So how can we not love what we are and each other? The only way is while in physical form, to keep everybody separated.
That's amazing, Jared. Oh my God. That's amazing, man. You got me tonight, dude. You got me. Okay, well, hold on. We got a couple people who have questions. I think Wesley had a question. Daryl, can you unmute Wesley for his question? Thanks for hanging in there, Wesley.
Wesley, you are free.
Unmute yourself. There you go. Do it again. You're still muted.
Yeah, it double bit. Okay, I'm gonna ask him.
Hello.
Hey, Wesley. Welcome to the show.
I think we got this. Jeez, the IT guy can't get unmuted. So yeah. Anyway, to the celestial chamber. So my understanding is that, of course, all kinds of physical ailments are going to go away. But what about like bipolar, ADD, schizophrenia, dyslexia? I've got really bad, what do you call it? Coordination in general. You call me a klutz. But yeah.
Okay, any brain anomalies, okay, that are created never existed, is what will happen. So at first we were going to separate the brain from the celestial chamber, but we now have been able to incorporate head to toe. So what that means is it's a different application with the CC as it goes through the reatomization. So with the brain, where you have these anomalies of, say, Parkinson's, memory issues, coordination issues, we correct the frequency of the brain. And guess what? What was jagged is now smooth. So you wake up, and not only now you have a choice, you want to keep the memory of how you were in certain instances, that you felt that you were, kind of, things were off physically for yourself, mentally. You could keep those memories, or they won't exist because they never were. I know that sounds a little complicated, but we remove the sporadic jagged frequencies that cause those issues and form them into biological situations for the body. So what we do is adjust the frequency, which is out of whack, and we harmonize the brain impulses so that it is functioning fully without any impairments permanently. So it's permanent. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 6'4". I grew really fast in high school, and I was always the guy that they wanted to pick for basketball, but then after they saw me play, I was never called again. And it's always been really disappointing. Obviously,
I'm not laughing at you, Wesley. I had the same thing. I grew up and I was tall. By the 10th grade, I was 6'2", and everybody wanted me to play basketball, and they didn't realize that I really was much better at playing football. But I was so skinny, I didn't even play football. So I had to be a musician. That's the only way I got it in girls. That's the only way it happened.
Right, and my favorite sport, BMX, vert and all that. I mean, I had to, work far harder than TJ Lavin and other guys that I knew, and I never got anywhere. Somebody would steal my bike, and then I have to, as soon as I can afford one again, then I have to relearn it all because my coordination was so off. But, I mean, in any case, to know that there's a future, I don't know how many years before I'll have access to a celestial chamber, 5 years, 20 years, that I'll be able to go and do those things that I always wanted to do. So that's pretty
But
exciting.
you'll be able to do it per your direction. So you already know the avenues that you pursued with that body the first round. You already know because you've experienced them. Okay, so now you have a knowledge of some of the areas, which is all positive, even though to you those experiences weren't the greatest because you wanted to do this and that, and you were impaired to do it. And but actually they were all really good energy and positive experiences. And you wonder why. Well, it'll be answered now because it comes full circle. There's no coincidence. That's another made up word in our civilization. Everything is engineered very finitely. So now you have the knowledge. Now through the reatomization in CC, you can now have a ball. You can be coordinated. All right. You can reverse. But you measure it from the standpoint. Okay, how do I desire to do this? How, I'm at this stage in this life right now. I'd like to reatomize and get to a certain age, and then knowing what I've experienced the first round, then I'm going to go and I'm going to have a ball, and I'm not going to be uncoordinated. I'm going to be very coordinated. I'm going to have dexterity. I'm going to have quick reflexes, and I'm going to really enjoy this. It's like with your with the motocross. You'll be absolutely phenomenal, and you'll have fun doing it. And you won't carry any guilt or anything, but it is the way you desired, and that's the way it should be. But first, you picked up the experience. Now you can apply how you want to do it the second time, and you'll just have a ball.
And if I may interject, so what you just said, Jared, was beautiful. Basically said, Wesley, how would you even enjoy all of the coordination and muscle activity that you're going to experience if you had not gone through that period of not being able to? How can you have love for cold if you've never been cold? How can you? That's
to answer that. I mean, I agree. I mean, I wouldn't really want to lose that I had those challenges. I would want to remember that, so that to be able to enjoy it even more. But I've only recently heard about you, Jared, on August 6th. This, and this celestial chamber, and so. But everything that I've heard from what I've listened to so far, even before today, I get the impression that, kind of where I've been looking at life for a long time seems to be kind of valid, which is the point of life is life, the experience to do it.
Absolutely.
And that there was no other point.
That's right.
And that we were always the masters of our life.
Yep.
And that's a perspective I think I've had since early 20s. I'm 39 now.
Well, so phenomenal. You're aware enough that you understand is that I'll have the memories, but I can do it again, and I can have a ball doing it. And it will be a new experience because you have already experienced the opposite. And then you'll apply this. Your enrichment and your joy will be off the charts. It will be with the God within you and not the egoic energies at all. Because you'll know, it says, this is my experience that I've created for myself. Now, I experienced all this. I'm 39 years old. Now, I can literally re-atomize myself, correct the things that gave me the experience the first time, that allows me to appreciate it the second round of both ends of the spectrum. So perfect timing, perfect structure. The architect that you were in the first round is perfection. Even though we look at it that way, it's just perfecting that experience. So now the enrichment that you receive from the experience the second round will be absolutely spectacular, magna glorious, and you'll savor every single bit of it. You will not take it for granted. You will become deeply grateful, and you'll stay in a grateful position as long as you're in that body.
Which I hope is a very, 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 very long time. My wife, I always told her, I want to live forever, and I don't really. That's just how I've always felt about that.
And it's funny about that. Without the physical experience, you do live forever.
Right. That's what I'm gathering.
Yeah. You don't. There's no ending. It's just there's no ending. Period.
I want the physical experience for a very long time. I want to be able to travel the universes.
You will.
And that's what I'm excited to do beyond just being in a body that makes sense.
You've already, as long as you stay out of the egoic energies and you're in the deep gratitude from the heart mind and in deep eternal love with yourself and all things, you've already moved the energy into form, and the universe is already compiling exactly what your intent was just stated.
Cool.
Thanks, Wesley. I appreciate it, brother.
Thank you, guys.
And if I may, again, Jared, I know you're a really busy man. You've got so many things to do. Matter of fact, you have things to do that will change the planet. So I understand when you're busy. And I appreciate you taking the time to spend this 2 hours and almost 2.5 hours of your busy day to just hang out with us, man. I mean, and hang out with me. I'm honored. I know that you single-handedly changed my viewpoint on a whole lot of things, not the least of which all the conversations about Europeans and Moors and whether you're black or whether you're white and society and slavery, was it real? All of that, none of that stuff, that's all historic nonsense.
Yeah.
If we stay keyed in on where we are today and where we want to go, you just provided us with basically a roadmap. And for that, I've always loved to be able to know where I'm going, so I don't feel lost. And I haven't felt lost since I met you, and it just gets more and more clear every time. And for posterity alone, I'm excited that I got to be a host of a show that you actually came on to. I want to, if I can do this, let me make sure I can do it before I do it. I want to, let's see, can I do this? I don't think I can do it unless I'm actually running the ship. But anyway, I was going to share my background, but I can't. But anyway, for Jared, if you want to see his website, go to We Are One Light for all.net. We are one light for all.net. And let's see, share my screen. I still can't do it just because I'm a host. That's not helping. Okay, but anyway, either that or I don't know how to do it. We are one light for all.net. There you will see all of his calls and playbacks, his meditations, all of his I listen to his calls every Wednesday. I listen to his meditations every day. And also, if you're having financial issues, he's got ways you can help yourself through other means. I've started taking the vitamin C he told me to look into. I've started taking the multivitamin he told me to get into. I've got a couple of more things I'm going to get as soon as I can get my first check, because you know I'm working for a living. But right, so I'm going to do all that, because I believe, and they say that a belief is simply something people have told you over and over again, and it's stuck. But also, belief doesn't require facts. I believe that I have all the factual data I need, and hopefully you will see the same. And I know some of you are going to say, well, he said Prince and Michael Jackson and Elvis. Don't get caught up in the semantics. Don't get caught up in the how is that possible, because clearly anything is possible. The Matrix, if nothing else, has shown you that anything is possible. So when you live on that premise, and I live on the premise that I don't know anything, and the knowledge of that opens the entire universe to me, which is why I'm on here with Jared Rand right now. Jared, again, brother, thank you. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. We didn't get into it like I really wanted to, but that would have been a 10-hour show.
Well, you know, it's a humble experience every single time to be with myself. You are part of me, and I'm part of you.
Exactly.
We're all, you know, it's interesting because it's always humbling to be with those that's part of you and vice versa.
Exactly. That's why it's so much fun to argue with yourself sometimes.
Exactly, isn't it? Yeah, it is. But then when you hug yourself and you realize, I said, hey, this is great. This is just absolutely phenomenal to be in this body, experiencing every second, be in deep gratitude, in deep eternal love. It's just phenomenal.
Yeah. Again, I'm floored. I'm floored. I don't care if nobody ever ask me to speak on anything else ever again. And if you want to, Jared, you can hang on. I personally have to roll, but you don't need me making jokes to answer questions. If you want to, you can stick around if you can, because after the show, you know, some people are kind of shy, you know. There's 20 some odd people in here, so yeah, I know there's some questions. Odin, do you have a question? I'm sure Odin, who runs the network with his lovely wife, or she runs the network with Odin.
She runs it. You know who? Look. You said it officially, G. We know who wears the pants, okay, bro? So I mean, you know, I'm bowing to you. But Jared, I got to say something to you. You know, I've made this a safe space for all that have thoughts, ideas, truth, conception, truth, reality, and truth, period. And that's why my man Seraph is here. I mean, Seraph is, he's a monster in my eyes because he reminds me of me. We go after the best that's going to tell the truth, and that's the end of it. Listen, there's no other place for us to be in this world but to talk the truth. And that's where I come from. I mean, as I said earlier, I had, you know, Mary Rodwell. She's point blank. You and her would be like brother, sister, because your ideas and concepts and the way you're saying things are identical. And my question for you is, since I can be, you know, a little sarcastic and skeptical and crazy at the same time, because, you know, I am Odin. How about this question? With you saying that people do not die, we go into sin to another form, and we're living in a life matrix, which means we are in a field that is generated by the thoughts of another, or a computer symmetry, as we will say, for easier minds to understand. So are we really born? And that's the question.
No.
Thank you. Because you know something?
Come on, Jared, you got
Come on, Jared. But that was a one-answer question, Jared. Come on.
I was waiting for Sarah to come in and say, wait. You can't just say no. You can't say no. Okay.
No.
Here it is. Okay. No, because of the fact is that you already are.
Thank you.
You always have been, and you always will be. Birthing is a thing that's been created in the Matrix.
Ain't it beautiful?
Watch out now.
Uh-oh, he getting dirty on us now. That dirty? Uh-oh. So if birthing is created in the Matrix, then death is part of the creation of the Matrix. Therefore, as eternal beings, which we are, the next question will be, it's a simple one. I know it's a dirty one, but it's simple. After all this generation of thought and mind has been dissolved by us ascending to the next level, and then the next level, as they say, why is it that we fear death? I mean, the ideology that we were given is that we die to be reborn. Well, sorry, let's just say it nicely. Humans fear death. They believe that they're dying to go to a quote-unquote purgatory, to go and see Saint Gabriel or Saint wherever Michael sitting at the pearly gates, who's going to read you your sins and rights and blah blah blah, and then you're going to walk through the pearly gates if he's allowed, or cast you into hell, which is actually a term from, you know, that we have, Nordic term. But let's continue. Hell, you know, hella. All right, but let's continue. Why is it that humans fear death when they say they do not fear death? Maybe that's the best question to ask you.
When it's perceiving, it's a perception, and when you're taught and educated different means and ways from external realities of other people and and how you're raised and everything. Well, separation begins. It's been handed down through generation after generation, thousands and thousands of years. What that means is that we are kept from the gods we are on purpose, so that we're fragmented from the standpoint on how we view things. It's the reason that so many of us fear the end, which it isn't. We fear leaving the body. We because we have spent our whole existence in that body, seeking outside of ourselves, which meant that the understanding of who and what we are within the body is left alone, and it doesn't expand, and we don't understand it. So we're separated. So we believe that we have a separation that we don't. Many of us don't believe that we have a God, a pure consciousness within us. We believe that the body is it. And when I leave the body, what's going to happen? Oh my gosh, how is that going to be? But you can see the physical engram that's been burned into civilization. Wow. And look at how quickly you can be fooled when you leave the body. So it's all been engineered. So that's why people, not everybody, but most of the civilization fears leaving the body, because they call it what? Dying. Death. Okay? And excruciating pain, decrepitness, disease, all kinds of things. And so what happens is, now imagine this, because it's going to come, the realization that each of the civilization that I'm in a body to experience, and it's all it is an experience. It's nothing else. It's just an experience. So when we start to understand that, and serious, you got to be serious. You can't be a kid anymore. You got to be serious about life. Why? You enjoy life. You have fun. Why be serious? Laugh. The more you laugh, the more you'll move into bliss. The more you experience joy, the more you'll move into bliss. And so then you realize, you say, okay, so I've experienced this body. What's next? What's next for me? And then nobody begins to fear. This is what you'll see in the future. You will see people saying, hey, Sarah, I'm going to go lay down, leaving the body. And Sarah will say, you think you've done, been able to do what you wanted to do for as long as you wanted to do it? Well, I'm 15,000 years old and experienced in this body, and I really have covered a lot. But you know what? I'm ready for the next adventure. I'd like to enter different forms and experience those, go to different planets and incarnate here and there, and maybe just connect with the source creator and fly unencumbered at the same time everywhere in different directions and experience that.
Go connect with source so I can just chill for a minute, then I'll come back and experience something else.
Yeah, you chill, but you're always there. You're always experiencing, whether you're in body or out of body. See, and you perfect. And the day will come that the existence, time is irrelevant, but you come to the understanding in your expansion, and you'll say, okay, I guess I'm going to create a universe. So you'll create a universe based upon all that you've learned and experienced in and out of form.
Wow. That is deep.
Daryl, I'm about to break it off.
All right, you break it off, bro, because I know where you got to run to.
I got to roll, but here's what we're going to do. Everybody that watches it now and everybody who is going to watch it later on, know and trust that I'm going to have Jared back on, and we're going to talk some more. And know and trust my guests are going to continue, when I have guests, that is, are going to continually be really, really dope guests, because that's what we do. I'm honored to be on the Global Enlightenment Radio Network.
And we love you.
I'm honored. And I love you back. And I'm honored that not only was my first guest Mr. and Mrs. Smith, my second guest was Jared Rand. I mean, where do you go from there, right? Like blown my load. It's over. I may as well get out of here. But
we're
right
just
now,
scratching the surface. I've only put just a hairline scratch
I know. That's what's killing me. That's why I've got to get you back as soon as possible. And also, guys, I want everybody to know, Daryl, tell them when my new time slot will be indefinitely.
Okay, this is an indefinite lifelong slot that this gentleman, the
Right.
great and powerful Seraph GL will have. It is officially, hold on, I gotta go to the pants. Pants?
Pants? Excuse me, pants?
When is this time slot?
Sunday. I know it's Sunday.
It's Sundays, 7 till 9 p.m. See, Pants didn't know it, so, only us gods. Eastern Standard Time. Yes, only us gods
7 to 9
know.
Eastern Standard Time on Sunday nights, 6 to 8 Central Time, where I am, and 5 to 7 Jarrett time.
Jarrett time.
So that's what I'm going to be doing moving forward. Because like I said, I got a real job that I have to work for a living for a moment. So it is what it is, right?
Donate to this man. Donate. Stop him from working. Get him out of the job. Get him out of the matrix, everybody.
Yeah, all you have to do is go to Patreon. That's patreon.com/SeraphGL. And if you want to get a hold of Jarrett, go to We Are One Light for All. Donate. We have to get this thing done because people with a lot of money, most of them want to invest or they want to loan money when they don't realize they're helping create a technology that will eliminate money altogether. But there's egoic minds that say, well, if we make everybody rich, then what am I going to be? You're going to be us, like you've always been. So with that said, I'm going to get out of here. Again, thank you, Jarrett. I appreciate it, brother. I love you. I'll call you later on this week. And Daryl, thanks for riding shotgun with me tonight. I needed help with Jarrett tonight.
Man,
and,
Jarrett's powerful.
Also, thank you to everybody. Thank you to everybody who came on the show, and thank you to everybody who's watching right now. As we used to say in church, under the sound of my weak voice, I appreciate it. And as always, in parting, I wish you love, peace, truth, freedom, and justice. And I am out.